Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Michael here again from GuitarGeek.com, and let's talk about reverb and the appropriate, can we say appropriate amount of reverb? I don't know. I mean, I've seen some absolutely stone cold great players that play with, it's like you're swimming in reverb. And also on the other side, people that just don't use reverb at all. So what is the appropriate amount? How do we use reverb in the traditional sense? Well, here's my 2 cents on it. And that's, I have found that people are generally speaking, again, this is me talking, I know I'm going to get some flack for this. Generally speaking, you're either a reverb person or you're not. Meaning, you are either looking for decay in your playing and leaving room for decay in your playing, or you're not. You're looking for pure signal, across the chain. Even if you use delay and you have a little slapback, a little moisture, right? You're not looking for decay. You're looking for maybe the sound to continue on a little bit, but not the, right? And that's why I find, especially with, stone cold blues players, like just, you're thinking blues, talking Albert Collins, you're thinking Ice Pick, right? It's hard to imagine that without the reverb, because the style of play, it kind of, what's the right word for it? It has decay to it. Like there is supposed to be so much space in that, and it's supposed to linger off. And when you hear these guys sing, it's the same thing, right? They're not getting tons of reverb on the voice, but the way they typically sing, you listen to Freddie King and all that, is that they kind of go to a note and they kind of like fall off it, right? With guitar, that's kind of the guitar equivalent to that, in my opinion, is having that reverb decay. And so when you leave enough room for it, depending on how much reverb the tail, that you leave, that's kind of the appropriate amount of reverb. It's kind of based on how much space you generally leave in your playing. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do fast parts and slow parts and you're constantly going back and screwing with your reverb, because that's ridiculous. But you'll find that most people, generally speaking, that are good guitar players, they have their reverb set to a place that really matches the amount of decay they leave in their phrasing. And this is an organic thing. This isn't something that people think about. So I'm trying to do a good job of verbalizing it, but if you'll notice, if you look at just like, so here's the thing. I'm talking from a blues perspective. For all you guys that go into outer space and you're doing like, the Radiohead, like super reverb stuff, where you're just like swimming in it, you'll find that those guys, while they do play some fast parts sometime or this, that, and the other, a lot of it, if you played a lot of notes and left very little space in between the notes, the effect gets lost. The effect of the reverb gets lost because there's no precision, there's no attack in the notes, because you're swimming in this swirl of whatever, right? And coming from a blues perspective, it's a much tighter window. It's, not off, but not so much where you lose the precise attack. And I think for most of us blues players, even country players, but but you come from a zone where, again, you're leaving space for decay on purpose. That's part of the sound that you hear in your head, just like a voice trails off. I think the right amount, it's different for each person, but it's typically speaking, check it out. Now I have a gate on, right? So, see how it grabs it there? That's kind of the typical amount for me, because even when I do really fast stuff, I don't want to lose that precision. But whenever I get back to single melody lines, that's kind of the amount that I feel is appropriate. Moral of the story, key takeaway here, and I'd love for you to leave some comments and throw whatever your opinions are, whether it's just like this guy's just rambling, it's incoherent, or you actually can concur, is that I feel that people use reverb based on how much decay they hear in their organic playing. And there's a direct correlation between more reverb and more decay to less notes. And the more, the more attack that you tend to put, whether it's in your rhythm playing and lead playing or whatever, it seems to me that a lot of those players tend to lean more towards a clean or delay instead of reverb, where you have all of the attack and you have the slapback, but you don't have as much actual decay, if that makes sense. So that's my 2 cents on the right amount of reverb. And if you listen to a lot of your favorite players, right, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like there's so many great players that use just a crazy amount of reverb, and there's so many great players that use no reverb at all, but just like stupid amounts of slapback, right? Stupid amounts of delay. And there's no right, there's no wrong, but I think the appropriate amount is based on how much decay you naturally hear in the lines in your own head. And there's a direct correlation to the amount of notes you're playing and the attack that you have.